So in terms of power production, the drive technology is very efficient at converting the rotational energy from the propeller blades, from the spinning wind, into electrical energy, which is ultimately what we're looking at doing, because we want to take that electrical energy, supplement that from the grid. Again, you said you didn't have very much familiarity with wind operations.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, let me introduce you to what we call here is it's the power curve, and what this does is it gauges at different wind velocities how much energy the wind turbine is going to produce. Our wind turbines, our standard 100 kilowatt wind turbines, start producing energy at wind velocities about 3 meters per second. This is roughly approximately 6 to 7 miles per hour wind velocity. So you're going to start getting a get up of some energy production. Now, peak energy production occurs at roughly about 13 to 14 meters per second, about around 26, 28 miles per hour wind velocity, and then ultimately it peaks out at 25 meters per second. What happens when it peaks out is that the drive disengages, so it's no longer turning the motor because you don't want to have a burnout. And again, because there's no gears involved, it's all magnets. The magnets slip, disengages the motor, and you don't have the problem of possibly blowing out an electric motor, which can be very, very expensive in a wind turbine. So your range, again, your operating range for your wind turbine is going to be 25 to 3 meters per second for your wind turbine. And luckily, your Waynesville County, Pulaski County in Missouri, as you can see here from this this diagram, which denotes annual average wind power, you guys are in a prime location for energy production via the wind resource. And on average, yearly, you guys produce around anywhere between 5 to 7 meters per second of wind energy. Now, you may be thinking, hey, 5, 7, that's not that much. You peak out around double that. Well, again, this is an annual average, so the average is taking into account days that there's not wind production, coupled with the days that you have really gusty winds that are upwards of 20, around that peak range of 13 to 14 meters per second. So on average, that energy consumption actually leads to an overall output product of around 225 megawatts of energy production per year. That's based off your annual average wind velocities for the year, coupled with the rated specs on our 100 kilowatt wind turbine. So you're looking at an annual savings in energy consumption of around 225 megawatts per year, which on an estimate from the average high school expenditure of energy consumption, it's going to be around a quarter. Okay. And I know you mentioned previously about 30 to 40%. I'm not sure if you're familiar with a school over in Kansas. They've actually produced. They purchased 2 of our wind. They purchased this program, specific program, and they actually winded up purchasing 2 wind turbines, which are able to double that energy consumption exchange to around 50%. So they're actually exchanging around 50% of their total energy consumption for the year with clean, renewable energy, and it's a very viable product. So that's the mechanics of really what we're offering from the wind turbine, from a design aspect, from a mechanical aspect. Now, ultimately, the big question for you is cost. How can we save you with cost, right? How is the wind turbine going to save you for cost? Well, let me tell you this right up front, that any renewable energy system that you're going to purchase, you're going to have major upfront costs. So whether that's going to be solar, geothermal, or wind, you're going to have major upfront costs. So your big upfront cost for wind is going to be the actual turbine itself. That's where the bulk of the upfront costs come. Now, the remainder of the costs are going to come from operating the wind turbine and maintaining the turbine. And as I mentioned before, that our turbine, with our technology, our direct drive technology, that it decreases those operation and maintenance costs. So you're not going to have to spend as much on the O&M costs as you normally would. So that's where the bulk for wind energy, that's where the bulk of the costs come. Now, in terms of installation costs, which is one of the many costs, let me give you the spec sheet right here. The spec sheet's an outline of the Northern Power 100 kilowatt turbine, and it outlines our pricing for what goes into the pricing. So you're looking at installation costs, again, the operation and maintenance costs, as I previously mentioned, and any sort of package costs that are included with the wind turbine. And as you can see, it gets kind of pricey. But again, that estimate is over the 20-year lifespan that is guaranteed from our Northern Power Systems company to you for 20 years. The turbine's guaranteed for that time span. And that cost, that's what it's going to cost you to operate that. Now, again, we offer a very inclusive maintenance package, which is we're going to be there for you if you have any troubles with the turbine. And all that's included in that price figure right there. But getting back to comparing installation costs, again, the wind turbine, in terms of installing a wind turbine, it's going to be cheapest out of the three in terms of installing one wind turbine at a 100 megawatt wind turbine. So as you can see from this figure here, the average solar installation of a 100 megawatt solar installation cost is going to be a little bit more than the wind turbine. So, and definitely the geothermal, you're talking major bucks to dig in the ground and put the piping in and get that all squared away. But for our wind turbine, you guys are located right off I-44. That's a great outlet. We can ship our stuff. We have facilities right out of Vermont. Just ship it right across the highway, get it on a train, get it here as quickly as possible, and we can get that daddy up and running in a very short time span. So that's what I have to offer from for our Wind for Schools program. Again, it's a wind turbine, and also includes educational resources. And these educational resources include books, websites, public data access, any sort of tools regarding green energies with wind turbines as the basis of that green energy. We have learning module shells available, and again, that's all part of the Wind for Schools product project. So so if with that said, how do you feel about how do you feel about the Wind for Schools program?
I really like what you've presented about the program.
Okay.
It's nice to see an educational aspect of it as well.
Okay.
But being in my position, I need to talk to my board to relay stuff to them and talk it over with them, and then we can go from there.
Do you foresee Waynesville High School operating with the Wind for Schools program in the future?
I do.
You do?
I absolutely do.
Absolutely. Well, that's outstanding. Are there any questions that you might have about what's been presented, or anything left unanswered? I know you're not very familiar with the wind, the actual mechanical aspect, and for many that can be plus or minus. So if there's any questions you have at any time, feel free to ask. I also I have this brochure here. I have my contact information on the back. So feel free to shoot me an email. My cell phone's open if you gotta shoot a quick text. But either way, the brochure, what it outlines is a lot of the features that we talked about within the program, as well as some of the specs that's also included on the spec sheet. But it outlines a lot of what we have for the product. So feel free to do that. I know you mentioned that we could arrange a second meeting after your board.
Yes.
Would you like to arrange that? I don't want to press anything today now, but however, I know that there's a lot on your plate, and you know, if you want to get this in and out, we can get this through your board as quickly as possible. Or if you want to take your time, again, feel free to contact me, whatever works best for you.
Okay. I will be contacting you when I talk to you.
Outstanding. Well, Dr. Aronson, again, I appreciate your time, and we'll be in touch. And again, if you have any questions throughout any of the process, even if it's with another company about anything mechanical or how the thing operates, feel free to call my office, call my phone. Again, it's on behalf of Northern Power Systems. We're here to help you. We're here to assist you throughout your renewable energy purchase.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.